Yo, welcome back to the channel. So, thinking from and thinking of, okay? So, Neville talks about this. We need to get and master the art of thinking from versus of. And we're going to kind of go through a lot of different things that we can do here, okay? So, there's one that I want to give you, a technique at the end of this, okay? That's hopefully going to give you a little bit of an understanding, okay, of what it means to think from versus of. But I'm going to actually take us through a little bit of the Bible, because remember, it's not written as a historical document. It's written as a guidebook for the inner self, for the imagination, right? And then we're also going to talk about a little bit of neuroscience, okay? And what's going on there, because I think those two will help us get and grasp this, okay? And that's what I really want for you. So, again, thinking of is like, hey, I can think about a tree, but thinking from the perspective of a tree, well, then I'm now the tree, right? So, again, thinking of something or thinking about it, I can think about truth, or I can be truth. I can embody truth. Right? I can think about love, or I can embody love. And that's really what Neville is really saying. When he's saying think from, you're embodying what it means to be wealthy. You're embodying what it means to be the person who has brought your SP back into your life. You are embodying, right, what it means to feel accepted rather than rejected. Okay, but then again, this is all intellectual. So, for me, I love practicality. I love tips. So again, but I want to go deeper, because I think going deeper and helping you understand this will actually maximize your ability to manifest. Okay, and this has actually really helped me as well. So what you want to do is you want to think of the word from as more of like birthing something. Okay, so somebody asked me the other day, like, hey, why is the Bible riddled with so much examples of like this person begat that person and this person begat that person, right? And why is there so much genealogy? Well, genealogy is psychological. Remember, this book is psychological, okay? So what it's saying is this idea births this idea. This idea is from this idea, right? And so it's a metaphor. So the beget is, yes, it's sexual in nature, but that's also psychological. So what that means is you are unionizing or uniting, I'm going to leave this in here anyways, uniting, right, concepts together to create a state, which means a way to see the world, a way to believe about something, okay? So again, that's what's happening when you're reading the Bible, when it's talking and you understand it as a psychological document. It's saying this person, right? And there's a name, and that name in Hebrew means something, and it usually means a state that you're in, like maybe poverty or joy or meaning or purpose or whatever it is. And then that one births this one. So another way of saying that, and this is yet another deeper way to understand what Neville's talking about when he's saying think from, not of, is to realize that ideas or beliefs birth other ones. So if you've ever been part of my program, my coaching program, we dive way deeper into this, because again, one single belief is never one single belief. Okay, so if you are thinking I'm rich, that means there's going to be other beliefs supporting it. And that's really what the genealogy in Scripture is saying. You're thinking from this state. You are birthing more beliefs from this state, which also birth thoughts and birth emotions and eventually birth memories, because you are living out of these things. And those memories are like children, right? And those are your manifestations, and that's what you experience. So your experience are your children. Hence why the Bible uses the word child, right? Throughout, it's like from the beginning to the end, right? The child is your proof of what you believe, right? It's what you're manifesting. It's what you're experiencing, okay? But when Neville says think from, it is literally like that. Your beliefs will beget or birth, or you'll think from more beliefs that mirror this belief. So if you think the world is beautiful, you're gonna birth, begat, or think from why there are reasons the world is beautiful, right? And the same with anything else that you want to manifest, okay? And so thinking from means you are birthing You are the father and the mother of your own thoughts. You are the father and the mother of your own emotions. You are the father and the mother of your own manifestations, right? And that's what's happening. You're creating states in the moment. And a state is what? A body of beliefs. So you're constantly creating those. You're constantly shifting those. You're falling into them. You're falling out of them, and so on and so forth, right? You're always changing them. So when you think of, though, that means you're just thinking about. Okay, when I think about nature, it's different than me going in and walking in nature. Okay, if I'm thinking about being rich, I'm thinking about what it would be like to be rich, not that I am rich, right? That's thinking from. So then you change your patterns of thoughts and emotions around whatever it is that you desire. So then you start talking in the language, and this is very key. This is yet another part of what Neville's talking about, which he doesn't explain out, is that he's saying you are changing the tone of how you talk about something. So it's not just the tone of your words, it's the tone or the emotions behind those words. So when you say I am rich, it is I'm rich. This is amazing, right? That's what you would say, but you really probably wouldn't say, because from is usually also, and this is another tip to how to use his other strategy, which is living from the end, is that you usually would probably be using the language of already having been rich, right? You wouldn't be like, wow, so every time you got to go create a scene or you go and create an affirmation, you're always talking about it as if it's the day after. You want to talk about it as if this is your lifestyle, right? And so you want to create scenes as if this is your lifestyle of being rich or being in love or being celebrated, right? And so you want to live from. What were those actions that you would take, right? And what would that mean? So if you're in the story even now, and this is a practical tip, right? Not just a mental one. This is a practical one. Let's say you really want blueberries, but the blueberries are more than the strawberries, right? Get the blueberries, because again, even though it's $3 or $4 more, it's only $3 or $4 more. And so you're still operating then out of lack. Okay. And so again, what we want to do though is thinking from is birthing it. Okay. Now what's really, really interesting is that your mind has what are called, and this is a very controversial idea, but it's still being researched. But according to research, humans have mirror neurons. Mirror neurons are how you learn, okay, what you should be doing and how you should be acting based upon what you're seeing and observing. So you are observing from the perspective of being rich, okay? You are observing from, right, the perspective, and this is actually from psychology. There's actually a tip and strategy here. It's called perspective taking, right? And you are literally taking the perspective of what it means to be the person who has the 7-room house that you want, or who has the new vehicle. You're taking that perspective. What does it mean to perceive that you already have this car? Now, again, you go in, you create the imaginary scenes, and you're doing the perspective of holding the wheel, right? And you're doing it, and you're living it, and you're breathing it, and you're accepting it, and you're excited about it. It's okay to use those emotions, right? And you feel the sense of adventure and freedom, right? And timelessness of just being on the road, right? All of those emotions are the ones that you want to go for when you're sitting there and you're driving and you're in your imagination, enjoying the scenes in your imagination, right? The mountains ahead and all of the symbols of freedom for you. So again, that's what it means to live from. But you don't just live from in here, you live from out here, right? So again, and that doesn't mean that you don't, like if you're trying to manifest $1 billion and you don't have it right now, that you live like an irresponsible millionaire. No, you still make decisions that make sense for your scenario now, but you live as much as you can lavishly here, but you do take the feelings, you do take the emotions, you do take the choice making as much as you can, right? As if you are living lavish. Okay, so there is a very, very big difference there to here, okay? But then also, here is the tip I want to actually give you. And this is, like I just said, it's from the field of psychology and it's perspective taking. So this is going to teach you, because the other thing about living from is that you have empathy. You have empathy with this perspective, right? This is really, really, really a cool way to think about this, okay? Is that when you think from, you have empathy with what it means to be a billionaire. You have empathy with what it means to have your SP back. You have empathy. Empathy means what? You literally are embodying what it means to feel and experience. And it's like an immersive, it's like an AR or a VR experience. That's what you're doing. This is VR, and you're creating that experience, but then you're literally living it out here as well. You take that with you. That's what Neville means by persistence. You're taking it with you everywhere you go, right? So again, perspective taking, what I would love to encourage you to do is take someone else's perspective today. Maybe somebody else, maybe it is a billionaire, maybe it is a friend of yours, whatever it is, it kind of doesn't matter what the issue is or whatever. It's that you learn how to flex the muscle of perspective taking. And so you're actually learning, okay, how to do that. Because the area of the brain that kicks on when you're learning how to do perspective taking is the anterior cingulate cortex, okay? And that ramps up emotional regulation. That ramps up perspective taking, your ability to look at it from their perspective, from their lens. And if you can do that with a friend, with a stranger, with even an object, it doesn't matter. It will give you a different way of understanding what Neville means when he says think from versus thinking of.